Hey YouTube, Kira Tweak here, bringing you guys my Igknight Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile for February 2018. This is the deck that was probably hurt the most when Link format became a thing, and jokingly I always messed around with my friends saying that this would be the deck that would come out on top when we got some really viable Link monsters, just as a joke. And when we got Doolittle Chimera, this was definitely the deck that was talked about the most, since all the Ignites are fire monsters. That Doolittle Chimera would make the deck playable again. And just kind of thinking of it, I wanted to actually give the deck its chance that it deserved with the release of Doolittle Chimera and Heavy Metal Foe's Electromite in the same pack. It felt like it was the best way for the deck to at least be somewhat viable. Now, all in all, I still believe that this deck is a fun deck overall with the combo plays you can do. It is not as powerful as it originally was, but it's still there, definitely, for the different plays that can happen with this deck, especially with their destruction effects and making use of it with Electromite and Doolittle Chimera, giving you that one extra slot for Pendulum summoning. So instead of just the one, you're going for the two summons. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright, to start off, all the Ignites, for those of you that are not familiar with the deck, all share the same effect. You destroy the one scale and another scale, and then search your deck for an Ignite monster. So you basically build up your extra deck for these searches. And I wanted to make full use of the destruction effect with different cards in the deck. So I run 3 Ignite Templar and 3 Igknight Paladin. They all also share the different scales between 2 and 7 to get out the Pendulum summons for these monsters. And so 3 of each of the level 4s. And I also run 3 Igknight Cavalier, which is the level 5 monster, rank 2. And also 3 Igknight Margrave, the scale 7 monster. And lastly, I also run 3 Igknight Gallant, which is the scale 2, level 6, and 3 Igknight Veteran, which is the scale 7 of the level 6s. I didn't want run any of the level 3s, mostly because with this deck, I felt these are still the most powerful Ignite monsters, attack stat wise, defense stat wise, and just playable ability wise overall. You can get them all with the pendulum scales and whatnot, so make use of the strong ones you have. And this was, I felt, the best number to go for, so you can get plenty of Ignites in your hand to do the different combo plays. Also, for backup now, 3 Rescue Rabbit. You can only hit the level 4s, obviously, but still the best searches to go for, because most of the time if you open up with the Rescue Rabbit, and you have, let's say, some of the level 6s and 5s in your hand, use their destruction effects to search off each other, but use the Rescue Rabbit to search for the level 4s, because you can use those 2 that you summon out to the field to make your Electromite, which then works really well with its destruction, draw power, add back effect for the scales that you use for pop power. All in all, what I thought the best way to go about it. And also, just for awesome backup with the destruction effect, 3 Astrograph Sorcerer with its destruction search and then special summon and add of the same copy. Too good not to run in the deck, in my opinion. It gives you that extra search, which is missing now, since you truly miss out with the add back for the Ignites from the extra deck to the field with the full out pendulum summoning. So adding the same copy of one you blew up makes up for that extra scale and gets this Kai on the field for another potential Electromite play. Plus, with Wavering Eyes being run in the deck, you can have that extra search to this and have that chain special summon play to go off of if you need it. And that's it for the monsters. I find it's the quickest because with the Ignite monsters, Astrograph, and Rescue Rabbit, you almost always have a play to go for in the deck, depending on what you want to go for, obviously, as well. Even if you open up 4 different Ignite monsters, which I can do a few examples at the end of the profile, you have options to go for, but we'll get to that at the end of the deck profile. Moving on to the spells, 2 Ignition Phoenix. All Ignite monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. Once per turn, you can target 1 Ignite card you control, destroy it, and if you do, add 1 Ignite card from your deck to your hand. So it's a little more addition for search, since it just requires you destroying 1 card to search instead of both of the scales as well. So something good to fall back on, and it also allows you to have another face-up card for Electromite if need be for the destruction play. If you're a little short on scales, or if your opponent took care of them in the mix, you have this to fall back on. Plus, I run the 1 terraforming, just like the 2 ignition Phoenix, the 1 terraforming ratio. Since the Phoenix play is basically just not a search, you just want to have the 1 to go for. So that easy search, just to grab it and sift through the deck faster. Also, 3 Summoner's Art. This is pretty standard since it helps to search for any veteran, gallant, Margrave, and Cavalier. So simple search there. And also the 1 Reinforcements of the Army searches for the level 4 monsters, obviously. Good for when you use the Rescue Rabbit, then you have 1 left in the deck to search out and add that one. The same goes for Unexpected Die. I run 2 of this as well. For the special summon, works really, really well for the Electromite, and I bring up Electromite a lot, but that's because that card has helped this deck out so much with its abilities for the deck. I know most of the time you're not going to want to use Electromite to its full potential for an Igknight deck, but like I said, that card brought out a lot more potential that I think the deck at least deserved a little recognition for. And Unexpected Dies, you use special summon, helps to speed up that process. And just for a little more extra hand power, 3 Paw Desires. Now I run 3 of this just because same basic concept as Pendulum Magicians. When you banish your cards, you're running 3 of everything. So if you banish 2 and 2 or something, like 2 Rescue Rabbits to gain a Rescue Rabbit, definitely worth it in my opinion. It's that extra plus that definitely helps with the deck, since a lot of your plays end up going into destruction plays, building up the extra deck to get off more searches and thin out the deck. But you can also thin out the deck and then use Desires to grab more important things that you want as well. And also 3 Wavering Eyes. This goes back to the Astrograph play, where you can basically destroy your scales of the Igknight monsters, search out Astrograph, special Astrograph, get your search off the Astrograph, and add that to your hand, and hopefully you have 1 more scale to go for it, because then you have your Pendulum Summon play as well. And if you haven't taken up your normal summon yet either, normal that, get the Astrograph, and have better arrows for which you can summon out your Igknight monsters from the extra deck. And the last card for the main deck, 1 Pendulum Paradox. This is a very nice techie card in my opinion, especially since your extra deck builds up so much with the Igknight monsters and you run plenty of monsters with the same scale to add back, and all they have to be is different names, which they all have the 2 and 7 scales, and there are over 6 different monsters to search out. So definitely playable and definitely good to go into when you need those 2 back to the hand just for your extra plays. But that is it for the main deck. I am not really a big fan of the Tyrant Throws play anymore, just because you don't get out the normal monsters as fast anymore, and it's easy to be dealt with cards like Cosmic Cyclone, Twin Twister, and whatnot. And having an Electromite or even another Link monster on the field, I think it's just a much better play you could go for, instead of tributing 2 of those monsters for the Tyrant Throws plays and limiting your opponent while you still get off. Much better investment to have the Link monsters, definitely. Speaking of which, moving on to the extra deck, I run 2 Heavy Foes Electromite. Now, like I said, it requires 2 Pendulum monsters, and when it's Link Summon, add a Pendulum monster from your deck to your extra deck. And once per turn, you can target 1 other face-up card you control, destroy it, add 1 face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand, and if the card in your Pendulum scale leaves the field, draw 1 card. You can only use this effect once per turn. Add back the Igknight you need for the scale, have 2 good scales to go for those Pendulum summons that if you can make it happen. Easy to get this out with the Astrograph or the Rescue Rabbit as well. Like I said, this card with the draw power effect and the add back effect just added so many answers for this deck. And another one that started this whole deck profile to begin with, 2 Doolittle Chimeras. This is the Fire Boost card, so not only will it boost up Electromite's attack, it boosts up all of the Igknight's own attack and lowers Water Monster attacks. You won't use probably the add Fireback effect as much. You could recycle some cards. Let's say you only have 1 Electromite for the deck, and it's in the graveyard. Add it back to the extra deck to reuse with Chimera when Chimera is sent. And for the more budget players, you can even go third Dual Little Chimera, because it is possible to make full use of this card as well. You run the Rescue Rabbit, you run the Unexpected Die. Easy to get this card out and not have used your Pendulum Summon yet. So then you can have this in the scale, get the 2 out, and have another Exceed play that's possible as well. And also, just for backup links, I run 1 Firewall Dragon, Big Link Monster, if you need those type of answers, 1 Proxy Dragon, and 1 Link Spider as well. The Link Spider is there just for, like I said, if you want that additional monster with the Link Summon, you can have the Link Spider out, then Pendulum Summon to where this arrow points, or if you have other monsters out, different answers for different Link situations. And then for the Exceed monsters, which with the arrows pointing gives you plenty of options to summon out some bigger helpful monsters. 1 Heroic Champion Excalibur, I was about to say Excavalier. 1 number 86, 1 Gauntlet Launcher, and 1 Taras for the rank 5 and 6 plays. And to wrap up the Exceeds, 1 Castel, 1 number 41 Baguska, 1 Tornado Dragon, and 1 Abyss Dweller. I went more max on the rank 4s because, like I said, Unexpected Die and Rescue Rabbit are just faster plays if you don't want to go for the Link Summon and you need an Exceed monster for a better answer. Those are where the majority of the answers lie, in my opinion. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And until next time, Kira Twig out.